I am TJ, joined by Diana. This is Bureau of Prisons Watchers for Saturday, June 13th, 2026.
Good to be here, and today is a big one. We have a lot to unpack.
We really do. 4 stories today that touch almost every person listening: credits, programming, home confinement, and medical care.
And none of them are good news exactly, but knowing is better than not knowing. So let us get into it.
Let us start with the Fourth Circuit. A federal appeals court just raised serious doubts about whether inmates can earn FSA time credits while they are sitting on a waiting list for programming.
Wait, so just being signed up for a program is not enough?
That is exactly the question. The court looked at a case involving an inmate, identified in the opinion as Bill, who argued he should earn credits even while waiting for Bureau of Prisons to make a program available.
And the court said no?
The court expressed strong skepticism. The concern is whether simply opting in, without actually participating, counts under the First Step Act.
That is a huge deal, because we know Bureau of Prisons facilities have massive waiting lists for programs. That is not the inmate's fault.
Right. And that is the tension at the heart of this. The Bureau of Prisons has not made programs available at every facility, and now courts may be saying the credits do not run while you wait.
So the Bureau of Prisons creates the bottleneck and the person inside pays the price. That is infuriating.
It is. And there is a related Fourth Circuit ruling from November 2025 that is also important here.
The disqualifying offense issue?
Exactly. The court said that if any part of a combined sentence involves a disqualifying offense, the court will not split the sentence to apply FSA credits to the rest. It is all or nothing.
So if someone has a drug charge stacked with a weapons charge that disqualifies, they lose credits on everything?
That is what the Fourth Circuit said. And the Fourth Circuit covers Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, and West Virginia. So this affects a lot of people.
Families need to know which circuit their loved one is in. This is not uniform across the country.
That is a really important point. The law is being interpreted differently depending on where you are. So what applies in one region may not apply in another.
What should someone do right now if they think this affects them?
Talk to your attorney or a habeas attorney immediately. And check your FSA credits with a real calculator, not a guess. FSA4U.com is built for exactly this.
Because the stakes are too high to get it wrong.
Now let us move to the second story. And honestly, it explains a lot about why these waiting list problems exist in the first place.
The OIG report.
Yes. On May 28, 2026, the Department of Justice Office of Inspector General released a report examining how the Bureau of Prisons has used First Step Act funding and whether that money is actually reaching people through real programming.
And let me guess, it is not going great.
The report raises serious questions. The OIG also dropped a management advisory memorandum just a day earlier, on May 27th, flagging additional operational concerns at Bureau of Prisons facilities.
2 documents in 2 days. That is the OIG saying something is wrong and we need people to pay attention.
Exactly. The First Step Act was passed in 2018. Congress authorized funding, and nearly 8 years later, there are still documented gaps in programming availability.
Which is exactly why people are sitting on waiting lists. The money came in, and it did not translate into actual programs on the ground.
And now the Fourth Circuit is saying if you are on a waiting list, you may not be earning credits. So these 2 stories are directly connected.
The system creates the problem and then penalizes the person inside for it. Someone has to be held accountable for this.
The OIG reports are public. They are on the OIG website. Attorneys and advocates should be pulling these documents and using them in filings right now.
And families. If your loved one has been told a program is not available, document that. Get it in writing if you can. That paper trail matters.
Before we continue, a quick word from our sponsor. If you or someone you love is dealing with a life insurance or annuity question, Policy Prepper is the resource you need. Plain English, no sales pressure, just real information at policyprepper.com.
Seriously, check it out. Policyprepper.com. Now back to the news.
Story 3. This one is actually something that could help people, and it has not gotten nearly enough attention.
The home confinement memo?
Yes, in June 2025, almost exactly 1 year ago, Bureau of Prisons Director William K. Marshall III issued a memorandum to staff ordering them to fully implement the First Step Act and the Second Chance Act.
And the key word there is ordering, not suggesting, not encouraging.
Right. The memo specifically says staff must eliminate barriers to home confinement and maximize access for every eligible person. It is a standing order.
So, if a case manager is dragging their feet on a home confinement referral, they are not just being unhelpful. They are violating a directive from the director.
That is exactly right. And here is what the law allows. Under the First Step Act and Second Chance Act, people can be placed on home confinement for the greater of 10% of their sentence or 6 months.
And that time counts toward release. So, this is real. This moves people home sooner.
If you have an elderly or sick family member inside, or someone who has completed substantial programming, home confinement should be on the table right now.
What should families actually do with this information?
Ask the unit team directly, in writing, where your loved one stands on home confinement eligibility. Cite the Director S. June 2025 directive. Use the language of the order.
Because when you show up knowing the rules, the conversation changes, staff know you know.
And if you are getting resistance, that is something an attorney or advocate can push on. This is not a gray area anymore. The director said maximize access, period.
I just want families to hear that. Your loved one has a right to be considered for this. Do not let anyone make you feel like you are asking for a favor.
Now for story 4. And I want to prepare people because this one is hard to hear.
FCI Canaan.
FCI Canaan in Pennsylvania. The Department of Justice Office of Inspector General conducted an inspection in June 2025 and found that the facility had no on-site full-time physician.
For how long?
2.5 years. The finding appears in the OIG semi-annual report to Congress covering October 2025 through March 2026.
2.5 years? Without a doctor? At a federal prison?
And the OIG found that inmates with chronic medical conditions and mental health needs were waiting past the deadlines Bureau of Prisons policy requires for seeing a provider.
So not only is there no doctor, but the people who need the most care are falling through the cracks by the Bureau of Prisons' own standards.
Exactly. Bureau of Prisons policy sets required timelines for chronic care visits. Those timelines were not being met.
And families at home have no idea this is happening. They are calling and being told everything is fine.
If you have a loved one at FCI Canaan, or honestly any Bureau of Prisons facility, you have the right to ask for documentation of their medical care visits.
File a FOIA request. Have your attorney request medical records. Do not wait for something to go wrong before you start asking questions.
And if care is being denied or delayed, that is the basis for a complaint to the OIG and potentially legal action. The Eighth Amendment protects against deliberate indifference to serious medical needs.
Which means there is legal recourse. You are not powerless, but you have to know your rights to use them.
Let us do a quick recap because there is a lot here. 1. The Fourth Circuit is skeptical of FSA credits for people on program waiting lists. Know your circuit.
2. The OIG says Bureau of Prisons First Step Act funding is not translating into real programs. That is the reason waiting lists exist.
3. The Bureau of Prisons director issued a real directive ordering staff to maximize home confinement. Use that language when you talk to unit teams.
And 4. FCI Canaan had no full-time doctor for 2.5 years. Check on your people, ask for records. Do not assume medical care is happening.
These stories connect. Underfunded programs, missing doctors, credits in jeopardy. This is what it looks like when a system is not held accountable.
And accountability starts with people knowing what is happening. That is why we do this show.
If you need help calculating FSA credits, collide dates, or RDAP timelines, visit FSA4U.com, the only calculator that actually gets it right. And if this show has been helpful, please subscribe and leave us a review. It helps families just like yours find us.
To everyone listening, whether you are inside, at home, waiting, or fighting for someone you love, you are not alone in this. We will be back tomorrow with more. Take care of each other.